Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sustainable and Green Solutions for Urban Environments miniseries. This will be part 3 of 3 in which I will be redesigning Hotel Alexandra. This plot is at 631 Massachusetts Avenue, which is actually right down the street from Northeastern if anybody wants to take a look at it. Before we actually jump into the design of the building, I want to make some brief assumptions and notes about the design itself. First of which, the building will be set at the dimensions of 125 feet by 100 feet. When looking up the original dimensions of the building online, I could not find anything whatsoever. It's probably because the building was developed originally back in 1875, but regardless, I am setting the dimensions of the building to 125 feet by 100 feet. Another thing I want to note is that I am relegating a small amount of space outside the building for whatever I desire it to be. This is just to give me a little bit more creativity with the build and to have a little bit more fun with it. And finally, I'll be transforming this hotel into a residential building. As I stated in part 1, I want this design build to serve the Boston community, and I believe that another hotel within Boston will definitely not do that. So let's talk about the entrance information. This will just note where the entrance is, of which I put on the Washington Avenue side. Just a note as well, I also, anytime you see a square like that, it will represent a doorway for this. So remember that in future slides going forward. But yeah, back to it. I put the entrance of the building on the Washington Avenue side due to the fact that it is a much less traffic-oriented street. So per se, an Uber pulls up or a DoorDash and idles outside the building for 5-10 minutes. There's a lot less chance of it causing traffic backup than if they were parked and idling on Massachusetts Ave. Therefore, the building will have its entrance on the Washington Avenue side. So next up, I do want to talk about what a modular construction unit is, since it is an integral portion of this design. What a modular construction unit is it is a light gauge steel framing for the building that adds a lot of structural integrity to it. They're typically used within Europe, which is known for their sustainability practices as well. The great thing about these plots is that one, no matter the dimensions of it, they can be, you could put stuff inside to make multiple rooms. Another thing great about it is that after a building has gone through its life cycle and you're taking it apart, these framing pieces can actually be used again within other builds. Therefore, they're actually fantastic for building design, as they could be reused again and again and provide great structural integrity to a building. So looking at the structural building plan, it is a 5x4, which fits the 125 by 100 feet that I set as the dimensions, as I am deeming these plots as 25 feet by 25 feet for this build, just so you guys know. So for the first floor plan, as stated, Washington Ave is right here and the entrance is here. Something to note on the outside of the building, if you see these little star things I put in, what that represents actually is plant and vegetation with a little bit of soil there. This provides a little bit more lively atmosphere for outside the building, facing outward into Washington Avenue, but actually provides drainage avenues for water that ends up on the street. This is definitely important due to the fact that, as I stated before, Boston is a very concrete focused city and doesn't have many drainage areas. So moving on, this area was relegated to the lobby, just because I felt it was important, with an elevator here for accessibility purposes, right? On this first floor too, there's also an abundance of 3 and 2-bedroom units here, just to give a little bit of variety in living standards. 2 other things to note on this floor is, one, I do have stairs as well, just in case the elevator breaks or you prefer to walk, right? Provide options. But another is a fire exit facing into Massachusetts Avenue. This is important due to the fact that Massachusetts Fire Code does require that you have a fire exit on the first floor. So I placed it there. And moving on, let's talk about the second floor and up. Once again, the elevator pops out here with a little kind of waiting room here. And additionally, on this floor, I do have another abundance of varied bedroom units. You see 4-bedroom here, 3-bedroom here, and a 2-bedroom here. This is once again give a little bit more variety in living standards and allows for more people and more residents to come to the building despite how large your group is. So next, let's talk about the wall and floor plan. So if you look over on the right, there is multiple images. And I would like to first start with the inner wall plan. So what these inner walls are is obviously the interior walls of the building, and that is different than the outer walls which frame the building. So first of all, on each side of the interiors will be what's called gypsum board. This is a very lightweight and durable material that is easy to mass produce and reuse after a building's life cycle is gone through. They additionally provide a little bit of insulation and a little bit of noise abatement. So noise isn't traveling so easily through interior walls. Another thing to note is this sheep's wool here. As you can see, this is what it looks like up here, but I'm talking about down here. Sheep's wool acts as the insulation component to the building and is actually very environmentally friendly due to the fact that sheep's wool obviously grows on sheeps and can be replenished very quickly in quantity. To that point, it also provides a lot of noise abatement and traps heat very well. The final component to sheep's wool is that because it is such an easily mass-produced product, it is actually very cheap. Moving on, I want to talk about the outer walls. Keep on the walls topic. As you saw again, we once again have the sheep's wool in the center to provide insulation. This is especially important on the outer walls of the building because the outer walls are obviously face weather and the temperature issues. So if there was no insulation here, you would be freezing your butt off. Once again, we also have gypsum board, which as stated is very lightweight, durable, and easily procurable. And finally, we have what is called hempcrete. Hempcrete I have noted down here, but what it is pretty much concrete blocks that instead of using a concrete filler, use the hemp plant. These blocks are actually just as strong and durable as actual concrete, but are much more lightweight. Although we do have the modular construction units in the building that are very structurally stable, not having the building hold too much weight also provides a lot of utility to it. So I thought those would be best serviced for this building. And finally, I want to talk about the floor and ceiling plan. This obviously just doubles as on top the floor and on the bottom the ceiling for individual units. And once again, we have hempcrete. Hempcrete actually comes in more than just the blocks that you see here. Just a note, they can come in slabs, they can come in just straight placements of them. You can cast them in place. A lot of utility for them. And once again, very lightweight, durable, and just an overall good construction material to use for a building like this, which is supposed to be sustainable, environmentally friendly. As for the floor, I decided to use tile. This is just a stylistic choice, right? I personally like tile myself. Tile is pretty sustainable itself as it's easily procurable and doesn't take a lot of materials to develop. So it's kind of a double whammy. I get my way with the design, and it's also good for a sustainable building. Beneath the tile, we have bamboo which was mentioned back in part 2 of this video series. Bamboo, as stated, is a very durable and once again easily procurable material that lasts a very long time. So I felt it would be very good as a floor base beneath the tile. Another thing that bamboo does is it also is good for noise abatement, which is, if you couldn't tell, a major selling point for this building. Everybody will have their own little unit in which people can't overhear what's really going on above or below you. And finally, on the bottom, we have what is called acoustic ceiling tile, which is noted here. Acoustic ceiling tile is most known for noise abatement and coming in very decorative and fun patterns. It is not particularly sustainable, but it's also not bad for the environment too. So I thought I would put it in. Actually, it is a lot better than a lot of other materials that you would use as a ceiling filler. So it actually knocks off a couple things at once. And finally, for the roof plan. On this roof, I plan to cover it entirely in moss. Now, this may sound very weird, but moss is a very common utility for things called green roofs. So what green roofs are plots of soil and vegetation that are placed on top of buildings to lower heat issues and provide a pretty roof. So moss is actually one of the best vegetation to do this, and the moss lasts a very long time. You only need to replace it about every 20 years and obviously there's sometimes issues with that, but it's standard to get these moss green roofs get checked out every 5 years to make sure they're in place and to ensure that they don't need any portions replaced. So I felt like to reduce heating costs for the building, it would be the perfect material to put on top of the building. And I hope you guys enjoyed this series. That was the redesign for 631 Massachusetts Avenue, known as Hotel Alexandra. Obviously, I did not include all the components of the building for this, such as electricity and heating, ventilation, air conditioning. But I feel as if those things are either givens in building or just things that are discluded. They're either in or out. And depending on the unit that you use, they could be very environmentally friendly or they could be awful. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this series. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys watch any other series I make in the future. Thank you.